it looked like at the very end of the research paper, you mentioned a charging rate of 10C. Is that what I saw there? You were able to charge at a charging rate of 10C, which I understand to be a 6-minute fast charge, full charge, 6 minutes. And you're able to achieve 81% capacity retention at 2,000 cycles, charging at 10C. Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Yes.
Well, today I'm excited to be joined by Runming Tao, and he is a material scientist at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And he was one of the lead researchers, I guess the lead researcher for this particular research paper, where they explored an anode alternative. Normally, most anodes and batteries are made with graphite. That's really common. Sometimes they're doped with silicon. But he did some research on an alternative that allows for faster charging batteries and I guess at the same time, faster discharge as well. And it seems like this could allow for incredible long life and fast recharging. So it's an exciting technology. It's exciting to talk about this. And Runming, I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us about this topic.
Thank you, John, for letting me having the chance to get the interview. Thanks.
Definitely. Well, let's start. I just want you, Runming, to talk a little bit about yourself, your background, and maybe kind of how you got into this particular field.
So basically, I got my bachelor degree in Southern Illinois University in chemistry. And during that time, I did some energy storage study, which is based on supercapacitor, carbon-based supercapacitor material. And after a couple of years, I get to University of Tennessee. And I joined the Professor Shen Dai's lab and works on lithium-ion battery, particularly the ionothermal synthesis for the high-performance lithium-ion battery anode materials. So that's basically what I was doing recently. Yes, and I just finished my PhD degree in chemistry at the University of Tennessee, and now I just joined the Oak Ridge National Lab, which is abbreviated as ORNL later in our discussion. So as a postdoctor, and currently I'm just working on the processing and advanced manufacturing for lithium-ion battery electrodes, such as advanced dry processing.
Very good. Yeah, that's definitely something that we want to talk about in the future, the dry process research. In a couple months, we'll talk about that. As we kind of move into this topic, I'd like you to introduce this research paper to us a little bit. So if you could give us a little bit of an introduction and maybe a super broad overview of this research paper. I mean, we're talking about a novel, I'll call it an MWNO anode material, and you can dive into that a little deeper. But basically, like I said, at the beginning, it allows for faster recharging, faster discharging, and still allows for long life. But if you can give us a kind of a broad overview of the research paper, and then maybe talk about what led to this research. Why did you explore this research?
Yes. So as we all know, our commercial graphite anode got some issue because of its low operation voltage, which can lead to SEI formation and unwanted lithium-ion plating issue. So especially at high rate charging, which eventually gonna have some dendritic lithium build up on the surface, and we're damaged the separator and got some safety issue. For example, explosion, those stuff, which is very bad. We don't want it to happen. So that's why we want to create some new anode material which can do fast charging and do not have the SEI preservation build up on the surface, which can avoid all the issues we aforementioned here. So that's our targets for our project. And so basically we just use some ionic liquids to do the synthesis of the advanced material, which is very novel. We did some doping because of the unique property of ionic liquids. And after that, we just characterize the performance and also dig into the origin or mechanism of the material, why it can deliver such excellent performance. So that's what we did in the paper.
Now, you mentioned some of the limitations of graphite and how that one of the big limitations is with graphite. You can get the lithium plating that can lead to dendrites, and it can cause some problems. That's especially evident if you get the recharge rates up too high or you discharge rates too high, because the lithium moves too quickly. It starts plating on the surface instead of actually being going into the graphite itself. So that's how I understand that. But can you talk a little deeper about what about graphite makes it that happens, and why are these MWNO materials, why is this a better alternative?
Yes, this is a great question, I have to say. So the very prime reason for this point is the SEI formation, which is an electrolyte build-up, decomposition build-up on the surface of the electrode. So for graphite, because the operation voltage is very low, it's about 0.1 volt versus Li and lithium ion. So which means the electrolyte at the voltage will be reduced, which forms a thick buildup on the surface. So this buildup will affect the lithium ion diffusion kinetics. So eventually, and causing some lithium ion plating issue. That's the reason. And for our material, so the operation voltage is above 1.0 volt. So and its plateau is at 1.6 volt. So which can successfully avoid the reduction of electrolyte. So there is a very, very little amount of lithium ion plating and the SEI formation. So that's our advantage for the material.
Now, as we talk about the Wadsley-Roth phase, could you talk a little bit about that? What is the Wadsley-Roth phase, and why is this so important? Can you kind of dive into that a little deeper? What is this process? How is it achieved? And if you could dive deeper into what you achieve at the end of the process.
So basically, we're going to use ionic liquids as the reaction solvent and the template to dissolve our precursor, which are some metal chlorides. So the metal chlorides is the niobium chlorides, tungsten chlorides, and molybdenum chlorides. So those three chlorides can be rarely dissolved in the liquids. And then eventually we just do some air calcination, just basically heating the gelled products, the precursor, to a certain temperature and form the crystallinity and the metal oxide we want to have. Yes, that's our process. Wadsley-Roth materials, so they got some like unique letters. There are a lot of open tunnels in the letters, which can let the lithium ion diffusion through very quickly. So that's the very unique things. And also for those materials, it has a high voltage operation voltage range, which can avoid the SEI and the lithium ion plating issue. So as we mentioned before, yes, that's the two advantage we have for those materials.
Let's go to faster charging. If I'm understanding correctly, it looked like at the very end of the research paper, you mentioned a charging rate of 10C. Is that what I saw there? You were able to charge at a charging rate of 10C, which I understand to be a 6-minute fast charge, full charge, 6 minutes. And you're able to achieve 81% capacity retention at 2,000 cycles, charging at 10C. Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Yes.
Can you talk about how you tested that? Did you actually run it for 2,000 cycles, or did you actually extrapolate out what it would look like at that point? Did you charge faster than 10C? Was it 10C across the whole time? Can you talk about the testing around the charging and maybe deeper into that topic?
Yes, we do prepare the several coin cells, and which is paired with lithium, and we will call them those cells as half cells. So, and we just put in voltage range from 1.0 volt to 3.0 volt, and at a high rate, which is 10C as you mentioned, and run the cycling charge and discharge cycling for 2,000 cycles, which is approximately like 5 or 6 years. If our daily life just charge our battery once per day. Yes, that's it.
I mean, that's really impressive. That's not something that I think you can get with graphite at all. Like nothing even close to that. Charging that quickly, getting 2,000 cycles. I imagine if you had the same thing with graphite, what would you expect? 300 cycles? I mean, at a 10C rate, maybe 200 cycles, maybe less. What do you think? I mean, what would graphite look like under that same test?
Yes, so the current rate is extremely large. I want to mention that
Yeah.
clearly. So at this condition, the graphite-based cell will got a huge electrolyte decomposition. So decomposition and which gonna generate heat and dendrites, which the cell eventually gonna explode, I guess. So it will not be able to go through this harsh condition.
We've been talking about all these positives about these MWNO anodes, and I know the reality of life is there's always negatives to every technology. So are there any negatives that you're aware of so far based on your research on these MWNO anode materials? What are the downsides? What are the negatives? Like, there's got to be some negative to this. Like, do you know of any of those?
Yes, for example, the synthesis. So the synthesis is still a challenging to get the lithium-ion diffusivity high and high electrical conductivity at the same moment simultaneously, I will call it. So this is a challenging. That's why we developed the iono thermal synthesis process. But this one is also not well established. We are just like making progress. So that's our first challenge we have. And our second challenge is how to, for example, in the future, how to make extremely high loading for those materials. This can be also a challenging problem in the future, but we haven't do any further study yet. So it's not good for me or my team to make any further comments or anything at here. So yes, those are the main two concerns we have.
Do you see, you probably haven't done this research yet, but do you see a possibility, maybe future research, of combining some of this MWNO anode material and actually combining that with graphite? So let's just say, for instance, since I understand these metals are probably a little bit more expensive, forget the lab grade, but I'm talking about just availability in the earth. There's only a limited amount of these materials available. If there's a limited amount of these materials available, that makes them a little bit more expensive. But let's just say that you could have maybe I'm completely off on this, but if you had a graphite anode that's 90% graphite and 10% of this MWNO anode material, is that a possibility? Can you mesh those two together? Do you see some kind of combination of graphite in this in the future to improve the rate of charging and discharging, but maybe not to the full bore of what this is capable of? Is that crazy, or is that a possibility?
So we haven't done that experiment yet, but I would say yes, that may be possible. Yes. So we are just crossing our hand and hope we can get some further achievement. This is a very good point you mentioned. Yes.
Yeah, because obviously, once again, you're not thinking at the moment about commercializing it, etc. And that's fine. That's not your job. That's not what you do. You find the breakthroughs, you find the new materials, and those lead to the commercialization later on. That's fine, and I understand that. But I'm always thinking as well from my end. I'm thinking about, okay, is this commercially viable? Is this something that can be used in the future? And one of the big things, it's cost. At the end of the day, it's cost. And so that's an interesting thing. That's something I would love to see in the future. Is I don't know how much research you're working on right now, how many projects you have at the moment, but I think that would be an interesting thing to look at within this material, and that's something I would like to see in the future. Last question as we close this conversation. When you do this research, what is your hope with this research? What is your hope with putting this research out into the world? What was the reason why you really put this out?
Yes. So if we want to do fast charging for metal oxide, there are two limits. So one is the lithium-ion diffusivity. The other one is very, very considerable, which is the low electrical conductivity because of they are metal oxide. That's the nature. So that's why we want to develop some material can be more electrical conductive and can have the good lithium-ion diffusion kinetics. So that's why we want to do the experiment and make this material. So that's it.
Very good. Well, I just now want to leave you with, if you want to close us with anything, is there anything else you'd like to add to the conversation? Anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to highlight? And then also, is there any way that you want our audience to reach out to you? Do you want us to just put links to the Oak Ridge National Lab website? Is there any contact information for you that you want to throw out there? Just close us with anything like that you want to close the conversation with.
Yes. So at this point, I do want to thank our Oak Ridge National Lab to have such opportunity to do the study here. And I also want to thank DOE and the Office of Basic Energy Science for funding us to the project. So which is very, very helpful and valuable. I want to say thanks to them. And also I want to thank my supervisor, Professor Shen Dai, and our great teammates. Without their help, so we cannot have any progress. So that's it. And I think like any achievement at this point is based on standing on the shoulder of giants. So there are many, many pioneers we want to appreciate. So that's my close, I guess. And if you are further interested in the conversation and the materials, maybe we can have some contact information for the Oak Ridge National Lab. Thanks.
Sounds good. Well, Runming, thank you so much for that conversation, and thank you for taking time to come on once again.
Yeah, thank you, John, for inviting me to the interview. Thank you very much.
Do let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. And also, if you work in the battery or automotive industry and you have any insights that you'd like to share with me, feel free to email me. My email address is John, J-O-N, at cleanerwatt.com. Again, John, J-O-N, at cleanerwatt.com. I'd also like to thank the Patreon supporters who support me every month and help make this content possible. A special thank you to my performance supporters and also the other supporters listed on the screen. If you'd like to find out more about the Patreon community I've set up, I'll put a link in the video description. Thank you so much.